Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So for today's video, I thought I could share a few tips I learned when we bought our first home. So if you're looking at getting on the property ladder or buying your first home, then hopefully this video will be helpful to you. If you would like to see a video on the whole house buying process from start to finish, just let me know in the comments and I can make a more in-depth video on that. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, it would be massively appreciated if you could give it a big like and subscribe to the channel if you are new for more videos like this, and thank you if you are a returning viewer as well. And with all that said, let's get into the tips. So the first thing I wanted to mention was about the deposit. So of course, the bigger the deposit you have, the better. So say you've saved a 10% deposit for a house that you're looking at and you're thinking, I'm going to save a little bit more so I can maybe put down a 15% deposit. It's not always worth it. It doesn't always make a big difference as to what interest rate you'll get. So there is brackets sort of to hit that determine what interest rate you will get. So really from 10%, the next one will be 20%, where you would see a difference in the interest rate that you would be offered. Then it would make a significant difference. But if you've saved you 10% and you've maybe got 13% or like I said 15%, sometimes it's more beneficial to use that extra bit of savings as a bit of an emergency fund when you first move in or to furnish your new home. Tip number 2 is to get a mortgage where you can overpay each month or annually without a penalty. I think a lot of the mortgages are these days, but there are still some that aren't. So if you're using a mortgage broker, maybe always ask. It's just super useful if over the years you want to reduce the term of your mortgage. Initially it might be cheaper to take it out over 30 years, for example, but if you want to reduce that to 25, you can overpay a bit every month or pay a lump sum once a year. Also, by overpaying on your mortgage, hopefully the next time you need to remortgage, you'll get a better interest rate. The Martin Lewis calculator is really useful to be able to work out how much quicker you could pay off your mortgage. So you can put in your property value, the interest rate that you pay at the moment, how much extra you can pay off a month, and then it will calculate it for you and tell you how much quicker you will pay off your mortgage over the term of your mortgage. Sometimes it's not even that much. If you pay an extra £70 a month, say, over time, that could reduce it by 4 or 5 years. So it's definitely worth looking at. Just bear in mind that they usually do have a limit, like 10% a year. So if you go over that, then you will still get a penalty, but it's still quite a lot to be able to pay off each year without incurring any fees. Tip number 3 would be to save more than you think that you need. Yes, you need to save for your deposit and then you've got solicitor's fees, but I would just say keep saving as much as you possibly can and don't put all of it into the deposit. Sometimes things break and need replacing. You might need to do a few repairs in your new home, and I would always recommend having an emergency fund just so it's not a worry if anything does pop up unexpected. A good idea as well is to also have your first month's outgoings saved so that you're not waiting for payday to be able to pay the bills. If you have it all organised, then you're always going to be one step ahead. And number 4 is when you're looking at a property, it's all very exciting, but just bear in mind anything that's maybe putting you off a little bit or that could put off potential buyers in the future if you were trying to sell it. Before we moved into the house, I briefly read a book by Phil Spencer who does location, if you've ever seen it in the UK, and it's called How to Buy Your First Home, and it's a great book if you're buying your first home pretty much and you've never done it before. It has so much useful information in it, so I definitely recommend that if you've got friends or family who are first time buyers. You could buy it them as a nice gift. When we were looking at properties, there was a house that we really liked and it was on a lovely new build estate. It was very quirky actually, but I was aware that with a lot of new builds comes a maintenance fee which can be monthly or yearly, and when I asked the lady how much the monthly maintenance fee was, she wasn't sure but did say that she'd get back to me. Eventually we found out it was £60 a month, which seemed like a lot and it did put us off, and the house had been on the market for quite a while, so potentially putting off other people as well. And the maintenance fee also has the potential to increase each year, so that could go up quite a lot over the years. And for me, I just thought in future if I do come and try to sell it, it could put people off. So that's just one example. Sometimes it's just really easy to fall in love straight away, but try and think a bit smart as well and about the future. Number 5 is to try and get a good team together. So this would be like your solicitor, your mortgage broker, your estate agent. Our solicitor was recommended to us by a few people that we know who have used her. So if you have got any good recommendations for people, I would go with those. And vice versa, if you know any mortgage brokers or friends and family have used a mortgage broker and they've come well recommended, then go with those. It is quite hard sometimes to find a good team. Our mortgage broker actually also recommended the solicitor that we went with, so it all kind of fell into place nicely, but at first it was a bit overwhelming. The solicitor that we went with was a bit more pricey than some others, but because she came with so many recommendations, we decided to just pay the extra and go with her, and it did seem to pay off because we got in the house quite quickly and she constantly kept us up to date with things going on throughout the process. Our mortgage broker was amazing as well. I must have asked him hundreds of questions and he was so helpful. Of course, you don't have to use a mortgage broker. You can use a bank. You can shop around yourself and go to different banks and see what rates they they have, or you can use a broker who will offer you so many deals that they have access to. I feel like sometimes you hear mixed reviews on brokers, but ours was brilliant, and I did my own research as well, so I knew that the interest rate I was being offered was the best that I could find online, looking at the banks also. So if you're not sure, you can always check online. So having a good mortgage broker and a good solicitor will just help you feel more confident. It'll just help the process run more smoothly and hopefully get you into your new home quicker. So my next tip would just be to keep tabs on what it is that you're paying for. So when you're buying a house, it just seems like thousands of pounds just get thrown here, there and everywhere, and you're just like, yeah, okay, I've sort of lost track of the solicitor's fees, everything that gets broken down. You will get a breakdown from the solicitor of everything you're paying for, but just make sure there's nothing on there that shouldn't be and that you're not overpaying in certain areas. Basically just read the paperwork that you're given as much as you can. Number 7 is keep your options open when you're looking for a house. Just go and look at so many houses. Pictures can be really deceiving. A few times we looked at houses online and really liked them, and then when we went to see them in person, it just was not how it looked on the photos. The rooms felt smaller. Different camera angles can make a house feel bigger and things like that, and vice versa. There was houses we saw online that we thought, no, won't bother going looking at that, and we did, and then when we got there we were like, oh wow, like pleasantly surprised. Sometimes you can just see the potential more when you actually stood in it and overlook the decor and try and picture how you can make it look once you've changed certain things and how you'd make it your own. Number 8 is quite an important tip, and once you've found a house that you like, go back to it numerous times, make a second viewing, drive past the house numerous times. I feel like this one is so important because when you first view a house, the estate agent might be there, you might have seen a few, it kind of becomes like this process. You just go in, look round, but you really want to take your time looking at things. You don't want to feel rushed either by anyone. Maybe the second time, take a family member with you who could have a different point of view on things. Drive past the house at rush hour. Is it really busy? What does parking look like? Drive past at night. Does it feel safe in the area? Is it quiet? All these things are so important. And number 9, which is probably the most important, which probably should be number 1, is make sure it's affordable for you and that you're not stretching yourself too much, especially to impress other people. So you can work out roughly how much your outgoings are going to be every month and what your mortgage will be, including your outgoings like your food shopping every week, what you pay for your cars, other insurances and subscriptions you pay for. Include absolutely everything you pay for and see what you're left over at the end. Ideally, you want to be able to have some money left after all your expenses to be able to save. If you don't have any money left at the end of the month and your expenses are high, and bear in mind that interest rates fluctuate, your mortgage won't always be the same amount forever. Things break and need replacing every now and then. You'll enjoy the new house so much more if it's manageable and you're still able to go out and enjoy yourself every now and then. And lastly, enjoy the learning process because there is so much to learn, especially if it's your first home that you're buying, and it's a great thing to learn and it's lovely to have your own space as well. And that is it for this video. There's probably loads more tips I can share with you, so I could make another tips video. Like I said at the beginning, I could do a more in-depth video of the house buying process, so hopefully you found it helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you have any tips that you came across when buying your first home. I would love to hear them, and it's always handy to share our experiences. Thanks so much for watching if you've got this far in the video, and I will see you in my next one on Monday at 7. Bye guys!